Hello, everybody. Today, I'm talking to two pivotal members of LumeXR, Savio and Head of Technology, and Avinash Ashok, Spatial Design Lead. They recently attended AWE Asia, the Augmented World Expo, held in Singapore last month. For those of you who may not know, AWE is the world's leading AR/VR expo, which brings together XR companies, investors, and stakeholders from across the globe to learn, discuss, and promote advancements in the XR industry.
Hey, hello everyone, and thank you, Aparna, for having us on this podcast.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Okay, so before we dive into it, why don't we talk a little bit about your time in Singapore? What was that experience like, and how does it compare to other XR events you've been to in India?
So I think Singapore was the first of its kind for us. It was actually both of our first time in Singapore, and our first time actually attending an XR conference
At this scale,
representing LumeXR, yes.
Yeah.
We've been to other events in India, but not focused on XR. So, like I said, this was the first of its kind. A lot of learning for us, a lot of new experiences. And yeah, it's kind of like a first step for LumeXR.
In the global stage, and we were able to meet a lot of people from different organizations, a few industry leads. Also, we got to understand a few latest updates from some of the giants in the industry. A lot of networking opportunities, and met people from different ethnicities and diverse backgrounds and services. It was a display of booths, stocks at 3 different stages, and latest updates from each players in the market.
Okay, so that sounds like a wonderful opportunity. Let's move on to the conference itself. How was the overall experience over the course of 3 days, and what were your expectations going in?
The first day was mostly started around 4:30 p.m. It was an evening ceremony where we had an opening reception where people came together and had a few drinks, chit chats, where people were discussing about what to expect for tomorrow and who were having demos. We were fortunate enough to meet some leaders from different countries, and also some hardware technology specialists who were building new solutions for mixed reality.
I think it was a good start because we dived straight into the networking. We actually missed the intro speech, and we just walked into a room full of people talking to each other. It was interesting, to be in such an environment where you're free to walk up to any group and start talking. Basically, it was a bit intimidating at first, but then
quite a mix. We were lost at first, but then we started step by step. And it turned out to be very good. We have built some engaging and lasting connection, hopefully.
Yes, that first day I think was pretty crucial.
Yes, it was.
And also getting an understanding of the kind of people that are there, and also to prepare us for the upcoming days.
Yes. That's how day 0 went, I would say. And then day 1 was mostly, we started off with attending the keynote speech and main session from Meta, Niantic. They had some updates regarding their geospatial maps, bit of ocean splitting, exciting updates from the tech side. And then we kind of basically split up between us and started attending all the talks by different companies and people, CEOs from around the industry. And by afternoon, we decided to go check out the booths and the stalls where Meta had a stage, and they had partnered with 4 different companies using their platform to develop different tools: RKO, ShapeXR, Nano Memos, Gravity Sketch. So that was one booth area, and they were the platform sponsor. And there were other players in the market too, mostly Japanese, who were developing these smaller form factor glasses, and they're moving from these bulkier headsets to lightweight and more compact glasses that have spatial tracking capabilities.
And I think there was a lot of improvisation along the way. Even though we had planned out our day, like what sessions we would attend at the start of the day, we didn't exactly stick to it, but we more chased opportunities. If we found someone interesting to talk to, maybe after the session we went and networked with them. That means that we had to skip a few sessions. We were not able to attend everything, but we I think we split up and then we made the most of our time.
Yeah, so day one would be the main one day that where we got to network the most and talk to the best of the best in the industry. So, and we were able to talk to our leads from Meta, Google, Niantic, ByteDance, Dell. Yeah, so a lot of people and a lot of meaningful conversations. And fortunately, we were able to, showcase one of our demo in mixed reality, that in the headset that we carried. We were able to showcase to some of these leading companies, some of the representatives from these leading organizations.
Okay, so let's talk about networking a bit. There were participants across numerous sectors, and as LumeXR itself works in healthcare and real estate and so on, what was it like networking with these industry professionals that you just mentioned, and what connections do you think you found the most valuable?
So with networking, the talks were a good starting point. So each of us had planned out some talks, or at least like the kind of topics that we wanted to learn more about. So for me, that was more on the technology side, and for Avinash, it was more on the design side. So we made sure to attend at least some of the talks that we were interested in, and we met an audience with similar interests at the talks, and also at some points we were also able to talk to the people who were conducting the sessions. So that was definitely a good starting point to meet people with similar interests, and from there I think we took it forward. Then there are also some people that we wanted to like chase and talk to. Like there were two people from Pico, the company that makes VR headsets, and we were not able to catch them after the talk, but then at some point we found them just hanging out in the common area, and then we just walked up to them and struck up a conversation, and it was a very fruitful conversation. We ended up exchanging cards and planning to take the conversation forward. So yeah, like I said before, there was a lot of improvisation with networking, but we did end up getting a few useful leads from this networking.
You mentioned that you guys split up for sessions. So did either of you find anything particularly interesting, any sessions that really stood out?
There was this particular app that I liked from Contextual. It's a company called Contextual, and it's led by Oliver Worsh, and he's the founder and director of design and innovation at Contextual. So the company kind of developed this new app for Apple Vision Pro, or for mixed reality in general, where it's more like a calendar tool that shows you what lies ahead of your day and how you can plan your calendar. So it's more like a spatial cylinder that lies ahead in front of you. It takes only like a very little space inside your spatial arrangement, but it felt like a really good presentation and a product that could be in the possible market in the future, like for the future. So for Oliver's session was very informative and inspiring for me in terms of design.
And for me, there was this particular session by someone from Google. His name was Toshihiro, and he basically leads partnerships for Google Maps across Asia, mainly focusing on Japan. So he had a session on Google's geospatial technology that they recently have been pushing a lot. So they recently came out with AR-based navigation. So you can just basically use your phone camera and get navigation like directions through that. So he talked a bit about the background of that technology and their future plans for that. And I was excited to learn that they're actually planning to expand to India pretty soon, maybe this year. So that was a good opportunity to learn about these things and potentially think about how we can start using this technology here locally at LumeXR. And we also made sure to talk to the person after the session. So yeah, definitely it's a good melting pot of different people in the industry and getting to know them. Yeah.
So you got the opportunity to visit a lot of different booths. Was there any technology that caught your eye or that you see potential for in the market that you can let us in on?
Yeah, there was a few actually. So there was this interesting demo from a company that makes smart contact lenses. Even though they didn't have a technology demo that was convincing, I do see potential in smart contact lenses being able to see virtual content overlaid on top of your real world without any VR glasses. That's definitely where the future is going. So like miniaturizing all of this technology that we see today in headsets and bringing it to something as small as a contact lens. Like it even has a battery and a processor, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. So it looked way out into the future, and they had somewhat like a demo, but it's more of a, well, not a real demo. But that was interesting to see. Another one that I liked was a fun kind of photo booth, a smart photo booth where you can basically have kind of fun backgrounds and filters, and then at the end of the day it gives you a printout of your photo like a Polaroid, and we made sure to take some fun group photos there together with me, Avinash and Tarian. So that was also a fun experience.
Yeah, for me, what caught my eye the most was this haptic gloves that they had, which I've been looking forward and hoping that someone would display at the booth. So there were two players. One was at the Meta booth display, which I was not able to demo, but there was another company called Sense Glove who had this VR experience paired with this gloves, which was initially a bit hard to get used to at first, but then as time went by, it was like a 10-15 minutes experience. But after like a few seconds, I was like fully into it, and it felt so real that they have the gloves and feedback of you touching and spraying at things, kind of like it had a mechanism of a few wires, and like it actually felt like you're holding objects in virtual space. So that was kind of exciting for me. SenseGlow, I'm looking forward to how they are when they are entering the market and what the pricing will be like. Really exciting stuff, which is a new barrier that we want to break when things comes to mixed reality, where a sense of touch is as important as in the real world, in the digital world. So that's something I am looking forward to. And then there's also this immersive display by Sony, which kind of projects these images to your eyes and makes things look like 3D, which is also fun. So you don't need to wear anything to basically for virtual objects to be like feel 3D. So yeah, that is good.
I found that pretty interesting as well. Like seen that technology before in the 3DS, like in a miniature version, but it was really fun to see it at a somewhat like almost like a TV scale display, where the image just pops out of the display. It uses some cool face tracking technology with camera and I'm guessing a polarized screen. So that was a really cool demo, and it was interesting to learn that this is an actual product that you can actually go out and buy today.
Yeah.
So
and there are a lot of other players who's working on these smaller form factors and trying to make the Meta Ray-Ban glasses work for real. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys really learned a lot and had a great experience. What are your biggest takeaways from the conference, and what do you bring back to LumeXR?
One thing that I found, rather learned through experience, is that it's a great opportunity if you're able to actually host a session or talk at one of these conferences, because more than just like educating the audience, it's a way of putting your work out there. Yeah, letting people know what kind of stuff you do, and also like showcasing the quality of work. So some of those sessions that I attended, I felt that there was very little content in terms of learning, but it was more like an advertisement for what people do, and it was really effective because I remember there was just one session about leadership in VR. And the person was like leading a company about leadership. He makes a product.
Visionaries?
No, it was
Wonder.
Yeah. So he talked about the importance of leadership training in VR, but then he didn't go into any detail about the actual product or what kind of exercises he does. But it was very useful to him because at the end of the session, there was a person approaching him, apparently from the Singapore Ministry of Defense, and they were interested in, creating or using this technology for their military training or whatever. So in terms of that, it was a good kind of conversation starter or like marketing.
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
Bagging in the defense deal is good.
Yeah. So I think for next time we're definitely gonna consider applying to host a session. Yeah.
Okay, and was there any particular moment during the conference that really stood out to you guys that you might want to add? Anything we've missed out?
I mean, they've pretty well done a decent job at organizing the whole thing, which is pretty decent. And yeah, I want to focus more on the keynote speech from Meta and all. And also maybe we want to put out a booth and an experience center, throw in more immersive tech. And there was this one really interesting area. They've really mapped out a space of the I would say like 14 by 20 meters of space, and then they just threw in a interactive mixed reality, not mixed reality, it's fully VR, but you're able to experience a story in that limited space. So only they did that. This specific Chinese group who kind of did a storytelling on Chinese heritage, and the storytelling was based around ancient Chinese history and those characters, and you were taken on a journey. So only they tried that, which is very interactive and immersive. But I think it's still in the development stage because we were bumping into each other and I hit a pillar.
Yeah, it was funny. I also tried that, and I was always looking at, lifting up the headset and seeing where I'm going.
Yeah,
because
all the people we bumped into each other, and I was like, bro. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But it could have taken to the next level with this if you had like a ghost sensor where each headset could have a sensor that scans the position and smart TV works. That would have been great.
Yeah. And for me, one huge takeaway from the entire event is that there's different levels of people, different levels of players in the industry. From my perspective, I think LumeXR is still somewhere at the beginning, at the start. So there was a lot of effort from us to go out there, meet people, and make sure we reach the right people. I think we spent a lot of effort on that part. But then there was some people
Made by humans.
Yeah. These guys just came in, hosted a session. They just showed a bunch of work, really high quality work.
In the main stage, actually.
In the main stage, yeah. And
being in the main stage is a different ballgame. So
yes.
It's not like substage 1 or substage 2.
You could see that there were leagues ahead in terms of the kind of work that they do, or at least the reputation that they have. So people who have this kind of reputation, I felt that these kind of events just bring the right contacts to them. They don't even have to do anything. Just have to be out there, host a session, and then at the end of that, you have all of these people, flocking to them to, start the next project or whatever. So, in terms of that, I think these events do a good job in bringing these people together.
And I think that's what we should do for next year too. The next AW Asia.
Yeah.
Let's get this beyond the stage. Yeah.
I think the exposure that this gave us definitely is going to help us in the future.
Yeah.
All right, I think that wraps it up for us. Thank you, Savio and Avinash, for taking the time to share your insights. It's been a pleasure hearing about your experiences at AWE. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon again.
I'd like to add a small, because most startups at this nascent stage would not be able to travel and attend expo as large as this. So I would like to take this moment to show my gratitude and thanks to Terrific Minds for enabling us and sending us out on this journey and for backing us up. So basically, definitely. So it's hard to put it out there.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.